I don't like how I'm lifting. Yesterday and today, it's just not good. I'm not feeling good under the bar. Yesterday was really bad. I felt it in my mid-back, felt the cave, felt it caving and deforming, and I'd never like to do that. I get it on PRs and things like this, but in training, there should be no place for that. You know, lifting with bad posture is just asking for trouble, and you string too many days like that together and you're really asking for something bad. Today I felt better, so I felt fresher, but still I feel like I'm not lifting with my legs. I feel like I'm lifting with my freaking posterior chain. A lot of pressure in my lower back, mid-back, a lot of deadlift-like movement patterns, and I don't like it. My knees shift back immediately straight out of the hole, and it's just a ugly, unpoppy feeling. This is not how I've been feeling for the last freaking 20 odd days doing this streak. For the most part, I felt it in my legs, and I felt it like I was stacked and under the bar. Now I'm kind of behind the bar, and the bar's drifting in front of me, and I'm basically just using my back to get it up. It might not be evident on screen what I'm talking about, but that's how I feel. So in the last few days, maybe the last 4 or 5 days, I've basically started doing 2 lifts harder than, well, I started doing rows, which is completely new, and I started doing front squats volume, which is also new in recent times. And I think the combination of those 2 lifts have taxed the living hell out of my postural muscles, basically all the muscles that I need to squat well. I mean, we all know what front squats do. Front squats is probably, I've said this in the past, probably the best way to squat, especially for somebody like me who is not built for squatting. It forces me to stay upright. There's no, questions about it. There's no debate. You have to squat semi-upright, whatever the hell that means to you, whatever degree. And because of that, I think I'm taxing the hell out of my quads, which might explain why my body's not able to use the quads. So that's one thing. And the other thing is front squats, as a lot of people make the mistake, they're not so front orientated. It's actually more back than freaking back squats. More back as in more spinal muscles. So more traps, more mid-back, more lower back. I feel all of that. And you guys might disagree with me. Depends on how you squat and your leverages. But when I do front squats, man, I feel traps the next day. I feel my mid-back the next day. I feel my core the next day, like anterior core. I feel my lower back when I'm doing the sets of 10. I don't feel those things when I'm doing like a set of 10 with barbell squats. It's just a completely different feeling. The reason for that, I think, is because when you're back squatting, you can adapt to the evolution of the set. So as one thing fatigues, you can kind of transition into a slightly different angle and continue to rep things out. Keep repping it out, and as the set progresses, you're using more and more of one thing, less and less of another thing, that kind of thing. With front squats, you are locked in, because if you lean over a little bit, then it's just making your life much, much harder. So you have to stay upright. And obviously with the rows, more love to the upper back, more love to the lower back and the core. And so those 2 things are really wrecking me at the moment, and I'm not really enjoying squatting anymore. Having said all of that, it's probably doing me some good, but clearly, when you add an exercise and it takes away from the squat, that means it's actually strengthening the squat. It's not just fluff. So these rows and these front squats are making it real hard for me right now, but it is what it is. Today I was in real doubt whether I was going to get 200. 180 moved well, so I tried 200 again. It wasn't as bad as yesterday, so I'm not upset like yesterday. Yesterday I was really upset because my freaking mid-back started collapsing, man. What sort of crap is that? I don't want to lift like that. And to be honest with myself, the last few days I've been transitioning into an uglier and uglier movement pattern where once again, it's hard to, you guys are probably saying, oh, he's just saying it. It's very hard to explain to you how I feel under the bar, as it's hard for you to explain how you feel under the bar. But 2 reps could look, the eye test could look very similar, but how you feel under the bar and what muscles are at war, you feel that. And, I don't like feeling my squats in my freaking mid back, in my lower back. I'm not doing the good morning. I'm trying to squat. Not good morning, squat. So when I'm feeling my freaking squats in my good morning muscles, it's like, what are we doing? Now, thinking about all of that, if you're thinking about strongman, if you're thinking about other disciplines where just get this implement up onto a pedestal, get this thing over this bar, get this thing over here, move things, like moving weight is moving weight, right? So the farmers out in the field, the laborers, they're just interested in moving the weight. But for somebody like me who's doing this every single day at a very high clip, I need to be thinking about what muscles I'm using. And I don't want too much degradation of form, because once again, that's where injuries happen. But I realize, you watch the strongman guys when they're lifting the atlas stones, like the whole back is freaking rounded, man. They are like molding their spines around the freaking sphere, which is the atlas stone. So this is where you kind of go okay, they've conditioned their spines to do that, to be in that position. But if you spend the majority of 99% of your life with a perfect flat back and you're squatting like that, and all of a sudden you get put into that compromised position under heavy load, mind you, you're asking for trouble. I haven't been practicing rounding my spine with 50 kilos. So if you have not been practicing that movement pattern with lightweight, you got no business doing it with heavyweight. So this is where people are like, oh no, it's natural for our spine. Yeah, it is natural, my friend, but it's not natural to do 95% out of the blue. If you're lifting 95% of your 1 rep max with bad form, and you have never practiced that, let's say, bad form, you're asking for trouble, man. If you want to do the Jefferson curl, if you want to do the atlas stone, do it with like a feather first, and then work your way over the course of months to strengthen those positions. This is, that's not an argument against, me saying, it's really bad form, because I have not practiced. That is not my skill. That is not my skill, man. You can't do that. You're going to get injured. And this is where the frustration lies, because this is not what I'm getting ready for. I'm not getting ready to lift with my rounded spine. Nowhere in my life do I want to do that. So when it happens, I get frustrated because I'm well aware that my body is not really confident in that position. And I'm basically resting on the freaking discs. The muscles have given out, and now we're just resting our weight on the discs, on the hard tissue. Discs, ligaments, bone. And how much can that tissue tolerate before it just pops? And then you won't be able to train any of those tissues, soft or hard tissues. You're going to be out for months on end. And you're probably going to be, if you're unlucky enough, feeling that for the rest of your life. So that's not the point. Let's see how tomorrow goes. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.